As Adriano Celentano is enthusiastically dancing on the wine grapes, we continue our journey of following paradoxical cinematic personalities. Searching for multidimensional characters, I more and more become convinced that they're the set stone for a film to be alive, real, and of course memorable. Today's video once again is going to help to build up on this belief by exploring a character that is very light, uplifting, and almost comedic. He's mixed with a sense of frustration, laughter, pity, and attraction. Yes, we're going to talk about an interesting man called Elia from Il Bisbetico Domato or The Taming of the Scoundrel, a classic Italian romantic comedy directed by Franco Castellano and Giuseppe Moccia in 1980. The film was very well received at its time, and even up to this day it continues to be a classic piece not only within the genre, but also it gained a reputation of this outstandingly warm and beautiful film about love and sunny Italy. And of course in a big part due to the entangling controversies our main character holds. So let's take a closer look at our amico. Charismatic Elia Codogno, played by no less charismatic Adriano Celentano, is a savvy, well-to-do farmer and winemaker. First minutes in, he unpacks himself as this jarring, edgy, grumpy, irritable, stubborn, and just bad-tempered man. He is indeed a scoundrel in all respects.
Ho un brutto carattere. Ho un brutto carattere io? Sì! Sì?
He's 40 years old and lives alone with his dog and a helper. He doesn't respect nor get along well with women. Besides, he doesn't really get along with anyone for that matter. The story follows his encounter with a woman called Lisa, who seems to match his stubborn temper. After their heated fights and rivalry, as one would expect from a romantic comedy, the two finally fall in love with each other. Granted, it is no big mess to see how this unshakable, jarring man wins over a heart of a woman who seems to be just as frustrating as he is. However, what makes the viewers from all over the world for more than 40 years now fall in love with this grumpy and paradoxical character? And why do we feel appealed by his stone-hard rudeness? First thing, character construction. Elia's negative traits are noticeable with the naked eye. He's egoistic, boorish, rude, full of himself, as much as he's full of contradictions. He hates people but loves animals. He's a professional in his field and, frankly, he's very intelligent. However, completely silly and naive when it comes to relationships and interactions with people.
Silenzio! Chi comanda qui? Siamo sicuri? Allora stai a sentire.
These contradictions at times become so excessively evident and loud that it feels almost impossible to be mad at him for his rude and grumpy actions. Perhaps this is one way to tackle our question. What we find intolerable and irritable in real life, with the help of artistic hyperbolization and protuberant contradictions, immediately becomes pleasurable and interesting. A second important thing to talk about is that Elia's temper is fetched out by those of the other characters. For example, the only person Elia gets along with is his helper, a sweet old lady who caters for him, treats him with warmth and motherly love. On the contrast with such a positive in all respects character, the rudeness and stubbornness of Elia becomes even more palpable. On the other side of the spectrum we see Lisa, a young, successful woman who is accustomed to getting everything done for her fast and with no effort on her side. She's definitely shocked to bump into a man who doesn't praise her, and instead of going away from him, she's intrigued by Elia's uncanny behavior and negative traits. And it is indeed Lisa who helps to perceive his rudeness and edginess as something interesting and to be empathized with. During the course of the film, she helps to open Elia's character to the fullest. At first, through her eyes, we find interest in his crude and illogical acts, and afterwards, together with Lisa, we start noticing how warm and loving he can be, of course in his own way.
Ti amo!
Contrasting characters is a great narrative tool not only to let the paradoxes of the main character develop naturally, but also to give them more taste and persona. Overall, Il Bisbetico Domato is a beautiful, light and sunny comedy that will not leave you indifferent. Elia Codogno is as frustrating as a stubborn man can ever be. However, he's just impossible to be disliked. And as much as Lisa could not resist, the viewers will not abide from eventually appreciating all of his rude and bad-tempered acts. I, for one, believe that the success of Elia's character is not only due to Celentano's masterful performance, but also due to the well-thought narrative construction of the character. He is hyperbolized, excessive, contradictory, and in a constant tension with his surroundings. If you haven't watched the film yet, I really recommend you doing so. Give me your thoughts and don't forget to comment with your all-time favorite disputed characters down below.